Chapter 19. Better is the poor that walks in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips, and a fool at the same time. Also that the soul be without knowledge is not good, and he that hasteth with his feet sins. The foolishness of a man perverts his way, and his heart fretteth against the Lord. Wealth adds many friends, but as for the poor, his friend separates himself from him. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that breathes forth lies shall not escape. Many will entreat the favor of the liberal man, and every man is a friend to him that gives gifts. All the brethren of the poor do hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? He that pursueth words, they turn against him. He that getteth wisdom loves his own soul, and he that keeps understanding shall find good. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that breathes forth lies shall perish. Luxury is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes. It is the discretion of a man to be slow to anger, and it is his glory to pass over a transgression. The king's wrath is as the roaring of a lion, but his favor is as dew upon the grass. A foolish son is the calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. House and riches are the inheritance of fathers, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and the idle soul shall suffer hunger. He that keeps the commandment keeps his soul, but he that despises his ways shall die. He that is gracious unto the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and his good deed will he repay unto him. Chasten your son, for there is hope, but set not your heart on his destruction. A man of great wrath shall suffer punishment, for if you interpose, you will add thereto. Hear counsel, and receive instruction, that you mayest be wise in the latter end. There are many devices in a man's heart, but the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. The lust of a man is his shame, and a poor man is better than a liar. The fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. The sluggard burieth his hand in the dish, and will not so much as bring it back to his mouth. When you smitest a scorner, the simple will become prudent, and when one that hath understanding is reproved, he will understand knowledge. A son that dealeth shamefully and reproachfully will despoil his father, chase away his mother. Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causes to err from the words of knowledge. An ungodly witness mocks at right, and the mouth of the wicked devours iniquity. Judgments are prepared for scorners, and stripes for the back of fools. All right, let's go back up. Verse 1. We continuing these little proverbs, these old sayings, and that's just what they are, these little sayings we can think about, carry around with us, and get some understanding from them as we go through. Try to gain some knowledge and some wisdom from them. If we just sit and meditate about some of these things, we can apply them many different directions. We're going to pick it up here in verse 1. Better is the poor that walks in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips, and a fool at the same time. It's better to be poor and walk in your integrity as long as you're just before the Lord. See, that's going to be your integrity, period. You're better off to be poor as far as the riches of the earth go, and be correct in your integrity, to be right in the world, than it is to be one who is perverse in lips, twisted in his understandings even, and go off doing foolishly at the same time. Poverty and poorness ain't got nothing to do with it. We're going to find out. You've got to have some understanding in this world. And unfortunately, there's just those people that don't want to share it. They'd rather sell it, too. Also, that the soul be without knowledge. It is not good. And he that hasteth with his feet sins. The soul that don't got any knowledge. The soul that's going to go off and do wrong because that's the way he's going to go. We'll find out sometimes these pleasant things, all these shiny things in life ain't the best way to go. We'll find out that knowledge is not going to be the best. The knowledge we're looking for is that knowledge that the Lord gave us anyway. He gave it to everybody. He didn't make no difference in anybody. He put it in your heart, put it in my heart, put it in everybody's heart. That's the voice we're trying to get to. This one that instructs us in the correct path. 3. The foolishness of man perverts his way, and his heart frets against the Lord. This foolishness. The foolishness of man, it's what perverts his way. He's too willing to go off and get into trouble. And this is what frets against the Lord. He contends with the ordinances and the statutes. See, the law the Lord puts in your own heart. You got ability to decide for yourself, and this is the only trouble that we have. 4. Wealth adds many friends, but as for the poor, his friend separates himself from him. Now, wealth does add many friends. Money can buy you buddies, but that's all it can ever buy you, these money-bought friends. Now, as for the poor, his friend separates himself from him. We'll find out they both bring their own share, see, and everybody's paying for his own way. And really, that's it's cheaper that way. 5. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that breatheth forth lies shall not escape. A false witness, that's a liar. He's not going to go unpunished. You can't go around breathing lies, telling lies, and get away with it, for sooner or later it's going to catch up with you. This one that breatheth forth lies shall not escape. There's no way out. 6. Many will entreat the favor of the liberal man, and every man is a friend to him that giveth gifts. And everybody likes somebody that's got something to give you. Everybody will entreat a liberal man. King James Version says everybody will entreat the favor of the prince. Everybody wants generous, inclined, or willing to do whatever he wants. The word is nadib, and that means he's going to get his way because everybody wants to please somebody that's important. And everybody's a buddy. That means, these people in those positions really got to think about just who their real friends are and who their real buddies are, because most of the people hanging around you is just probably doing it for the money or for your fame or whatever that is. We don't want to let that be the reason. 7. All the brethren of the poor do hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? He that pursueth words, they turn against him. All the brethren of the poor, those of like understanding, they hate him. Got nothing to offer him. How much more do his friends go far from him? How much far do they get away from him, separate from him? Even his buddies. And even these ones that pursue words, these ones that think they're knowledgeable, think they're understanding, they turn against him. Why? He's one who's poor. He ain't got nothing to give. He ain't got nothing to offer. He that gets wisdom loves his soul. He that keeps understanding shall find good. This one that gets wisdom loves his own soul. He likes himself, and most of the reason because he's trying to get self right. He keeps understanding, and he finds good. Why? Because he finds this is the understanding. It's the Lord give it to him in the beginning. There's no great secrets. You got the law on your heart. They got the law on their heart. I got the law on my heart. Everybody's got it. And the real question is just, what is the problem? 9. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that breatheth forth lies shall perish. A false witness, my friend, he shall not be unpunished. Why? But because they're liars. And the Lord said, you shall not bear false witness. You shall not be a liar. Of course, not everybody listens. But the one that breatheth forth lies, the one that goes out and runs his mouth, that's what his business is. He's a liar, perverter of truth. The Lord made him for an example for you. You can see him. 10. Luxury is not seemingly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over a princess. Now, luxury is not seemingly for the fool. Mostly because he don't deserve it, and he'll squander it away, and he just blows it, spoils it. It's no good to him. It has no purpose, much less a servant to have rule over princes. What would that say about the king? 11. It is the discretion of a man to be slow to anger, and it is his glory to pass over a transgression. It is the discretion of a man to be slow to anger. It's up to him whether he wants to be quick to get angry, slow to get angry. A lot of times if we just slow down and take our time, we get a lot more done with our anger. But now it's his glory to pass over a transgression, and sometimes it's enough just to make it known and say, let's not let this happen again. 12. The king's wrath is as a roaring of a lion, but his favor is as the dew upon the grass. Now, king's wrath, just like that. It's like the roaring of a lion. How much more God's? And his favor is as the dew upon the grass. And how much more the Lord's? 13. A foolish son is the calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. A foolish son, this one that goes forth to carry on the ship, is a calamity of his father. He's nothing but a calamity. A calamity is something getting ready to happen. It's a great catastrophe just hanging in the balance, so to speak. And a contentious wife, a wife that always contends with her husband or always striving against him, a lot of times there's no teamwork. Just a continual dropping. We don't have to get into what the droppings are. 14. House and riches are the inheritance of fathers, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. Houses and riches are the inheritance of fathers. That's something we can get from Dad. We inherit things from our fathers, from wise fathers. Leave for an inheritance. A prudent wife. A wife that is prudent is a woman of understanding, one of knowledge, and one of wisdom, one that understands the law. She is from the Lord. 15. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and the idle soul shall suffer hunger. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep. Laziness, too much rest, makes a man sorry. And this idle soul shall suffer hunger because he doesn't try to do anything. 16. He that keeps the commandment keeps his soul, but he that despises his ways shall die. This one that keeps the commandment. What commandment? That's the Lord's commandment. Keeps his soul. He's the one that keeps alive his soul. That life that lives within. But this one that despises his way shall die. Well, we'll find he's done dead. As soon as you sin, that's the consequence of it, is death. You cross over the line. There's a line, and you cross over it. 17. He that is gracious unto the poor lends unto the Lord, and his good deed will he repay unto him. This one that is gracious unto the poor, who are the poor? He lends unto the Lord. We'll find the Lord's everywhere. His good deed will he repay him, and you can count on that. 18. Chasten your son, for there is hope, but set not your heart on his destruction. Chasten your son, punish him, God. You don't mean you got to beat him. You don't mean you got to whoop him. Give him some knowledge, give him a little wisdom, give him some understanding, and we'll find out use that, always relaying that the order. Don't set your heart to destroy him. In other words, try to get the good out of it instead of always bringing forth that negative. 19. A man of great wrath shall suffer punishment, for if you interpose, you will add thereto. A man of great wrath shall suffer punishment because he's not merciful. If you want mercy, you have to be merciful. That's a very simple thing, and what times these men of great wrath don't understand. That's just what the Lord's trying to teach you, and you keep going against it. But if you interpose, if you try to get in there and help him, if you try to get in there and save him and try to some way bring him around, you will just add there too, because he's got to learn his lessons from the Lord. That's your teacher. He said, I am your teacher. You don't have another. 20. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that you may be wise in your latter end. Hear counsel and receive instruction. It's also you be wise in your latter end after you get through experience. And a lot of people have to go through life and experience the good. They experience the bad. You have to make your decision. See, and receive this instruction. It's going to be best for you in the end. At least when you get older, you'll be able to sit and reflect. Try to gather some understanding then. Better for you if you have it when you start out. See, and it's a very simple thing. If your parents didn't teach you, read the law, find out what the law says. It's the law that's in your heart. When you hear it, it should remind you that the Lord put it there. 21. There are many devices in a man's heart, but the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. Now, there's many things a man's heart can devise. There's many things he can come up with. But these counsel, these words that the Lord spoke, my friends, they shall stand. They are in every one. 22. The lust of a man is his shame, and a poor man is better than a liar. Lust of a man is his shame. That what he's going after each other. It makes itself known. We see it. Don't let this be your shame. A poor man is better than a liar. It's better to have nothing than to be one who goes around lying, telling untruth, living a life and saying something else. 23. The fear of the Lord tends to life. And he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. The fear of the Lord, the reverence, the recognition, it tends to life. It leads, kind of hangs that way a little bit, you might say. Leans over that way. Got a little more weight that side of it. And he that hath it, he shall abide satisfied. He's a little happier than everybody else because he's kind of tilted that way a little bit towards the good portion of life. He shall not be visited with evil. He don't got the trouble everybody else has got. He don't look at it that way. That's one thing. 24. A sluggard burieth his hand in the dish, and will not so much as bring it back to his mouth. A sluggard. That's that lazy guy. He's the one that buries his hand. He's got his hand all up in it. He's got his works all up in it. But he won't so much as take a bite or a morsel of it to put to his mouth, so he can get a little substance from it. 25. When you smite a scorner, the simple will become prudent, and when one that hath understanding is reproved, he will understand knowledge. And when you smite a scorner, when you punish him, of course, this literally means when you show him the back of your hand, the simple will become prudent. They'll see these things and they'll get a little wit about them. You slap the liar across his mouth. That's basically what it means. And there's other ways to do that. The simple way is just slap him with the hand that comes from understanding. Because the one that has understanding, he gets reproved, he will understand what knowledge is. He will understand there's two different hands a man be slapped with. 26. A son that dealeth shamefully and reproachfully will despoil his father, chase away his mother. A son that dealeth shamefully and reproachfully, he don't make his father any happier. And he runs his mama off because she don't want nothing to do with him. That's what happens in life. You get that far, you need to turn around and go back. These are the ones that give you life and give you understanding and brought you forth, not to lead you off into a path of death and unrighteousness. See, and that's what ends up happening to these that deal shamefully. This is the son, the one that carries that shame. He stands for, he represents. 27. Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causes to err from the words of knowledge. Cease, stop, right there, my son. The one that goes forth, he's got the sham. Listen to what instruction says. Come away from those words that cause you to go astray from the words of knowledge. Get away from those guys. They're just lying to you. 28. An ungodly witness mocketh their right. The mouth of the wicked, they devoureth iniquity. An ungodly witness got no understanding, got no reverence for anybody else. He mocks it, right? He just laughs at it. Man, we'll find out. He's about as foolish as one can get. And the mouth of the wicked devours iniquity. That's what he gets for breakfast. That's what he's getting for lunch. And that's what he's getting for supper. That's what he's nourished by, perversion. We don't need that. That's what's going on in the world today. We need to change that. And it all starts with us keeping the ordinances and statutes the Lord give us. 29. Judgments are prepared for scorners and stripes for the back of fools. Because judgments are prepared for scorners. All these ones that want to exalt themselves. That word is lutz. These ones that talk arrogantly, boast themselves, lift themselves up. They make mouth at. They say, "Oh, you're just stupid. You're ignorant." Well, anybody can sit around and consider and call somebody else stupid, ignorant, and that don't take nothing. But the actions, my friend, and what we see is what we really are listening to. Some just don't get it. We're going to move forward to Proverbs 20. Turn and return.